Hello students, my name is Shayan Mitra. I am the faculty member of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. Today I am going to taking the class of Fourier transform of aperiodic signals. This is the introductory class for Fourier transform. In this first class we are going to discuss about what is the Fourier transform, how it works, and what is the relation of Fourier transform with Fourier series. We could say that this Fourier transform lecture is a continuation of the Fourier series representation that we have already discussed. In Fourier series representation, we have already discussed about the periodic signals and how it could be represented as a linear combination of exponential signals, and we have discussed what is an analysis equation, what is a synthesis equation, how we could derive a specific periodic signal as a combination of exponential function. Suppose there is a sine function or cosine function, the combination of sine and cosine function we can one second. Yes, so we have described how we could describe or represent a cosine of a combination cosine or sine function or a combination of cosine and sine function as a form of as a combination of exponential function. Okay, so through which we have described the phase and magnitude response. So this lecture is the continuation of Fourier series representation. So let's begin with the class. Okay, and the code name is signal system, and code name is subject. This code is EC303, and this is the lecture number 80. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so as we have described earlier, the what is a Fourier series representation of any kind of periodic function. Now, as the Baptiste Fourier has described here, that the basic idea of Fourier, Baptiste Fourier, is that we can represent any kind of a signal. Suppose there is a signal that is aperiodic signal. Now, with an example, we will go through the representation of a aperiodic signal as a representation of a linear. We can represent according to the Fourier, according to Baptiste Fourier, we can represent a specific aperiodic signal as a linear combination of exponential function. Okay, so that is the basic difference. Earlier, before Fourier, Lagrange and Euler's have derived that they have agreed with the fact that we can represent a periodic signal as a linear combination of exponential function, but in case of aperiodic signals we cannot do that. But Baptiste Fourier have provided us the information or the facts, or he had proved that we can represent the aperiodic signal as a linear combination of exponential function, and that's where the introduction of Fourier transform has occurred. Okay, so we will go with the example. We have already described one example. So first we will understand what is a get function or pulse function is, then we will proceed to understand how we can understand using that specific example what is a Fourier transform is. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so this example that we have from this reference book here, we have this. Now suppose there is an example. This example is showing that this is a get pulse function. Okay, this pulse function is practically a function which will be which has represented graphically here and represented here as a mathematically, which is saying that x a function of t is equal to 1 when the value of mod t is less than t1, and the value of x of t is 0 for mod t where the value is in between t1 and ty2. Okay, so for convenience we have taken here that it is going to choose minus t by 2, the value of t is in between minus t by 2 to t by 2. It means the function will be function will exist for the time period of t. Okay, so as we know from the analysis equation and synthesis equation, we have provided the analysis equation and synthesis equation. From that we get that the here. Okay, so determine the Fourier series coefficients for x of t. We use equation 3.3, and that is the synthesis equation and analysis equation. Because of the symmetry of x of t about t is equal to 0, we get this value, that this value is there, and as the interval over which the integration is performed, although any interval of length t is equally valid and thus will lead to same result. Using these limits of integration and substituting from equation 3.41, we have first for k is equal to 0 from the basically from the analysis equation. through which the analysis equation, what in the previous lectures we have already described what is an analysis equation is nothing but the constant coefficient of each value. But suppose in case of a sinusoidal function, a suffix 0 is providing us the DC value of the specific signal. Okay, so from that integration form, what we derive here is a suffix 0 is equal to 2t1 by t. Okay, and as mentioned previously, a suffix 0 is interpreted to be the average value of xt, that's the DC value, and which in this case equals the fraction of each period during which x of t is equal to 1. So that value can be rewritten as a suffix k can be rewritten as 1 by t. From the analysis equation we can get that integration of minus t1 to t1 e to the power minus jk omega 0 t dt. From this we get this value, and the final value we can spare the mathematical part. It's a very simple mathematical part of integration, and we get the final value here, a suffix k is equal to sin k omega 0 t1 by k pi, where we have provided with the information that we have used the fact that omega 0 t is equal to 2 pi, where the time period t is equal to 2 pi by omega 0. Now this basic fact can be utilized to understand the Fourier transform. Here we have here that capital T is equal to 2 pi by omega 0. Okay, so the relation is showing that suppose the time periods is increasing, it means the corresponding fundamental frequency will get decreased. So with that, from this evaluation we can understand through the graphical representation. Now this is the a suffix k is nothing but the envelope of that specific signal. Now this specific signal can be rewritten here is that a suffix k is equal to sin k omega 0 by t1 by k pi. Okay, now this specific instruction, from that what we get here is that, okay, now this from this bar graph figure what we have here, this is the graphical representation. Okay, the plots of the scale Fourier series coefficients of t a suffix k for the periodic square wave with t1. Now how do we get there? Let's see. Okay, so this figure is bar graph of the Fourier series coefficient for this example. In particular, the coefficients are plotted for a fixed value of t1 and several values of t. For this specific example, the Fourier coefficients are real, and consequently they can be depicted graphically with only a single graph. More generally, of course, the Fourier coefficients are complex, so the two graphs are corresponding to the real and imaginary parts of the magnitude and phase of each coefficient would be required for t is equal to 41. X of t is a square wave, that is unity for half the period and 0 for half the period. In this case, omega 0 t1 is equal to pi by 2. Now from that, what we can written here is that omega 0 t1 can be rewritten as pi by 2. That we can get that from this specific relation. Okay, so now it can be written here as pi k by 2. So if we just put those values, we get this specific constant coefficients for specific values, and we get the real part and the imaginary part. Now if we just put all those values here, we get these values. Now this first graphical representation is showing the time period is less. Now as we increase the time period, the fundamental frequency will decrease. So each decreasing fundamental frequency, what will happen, the sampling, the spacing of the sampling will get closer. It means suppose within a range, the spacing of the samples will get closer by increasing by increased fundamental period. Okay, so with the decreasing fundamental frequency, the sample spacing will decreases. Okay, now this is the basic gate pulse function. Now what we have here, so if we just take a close look here, that what we have done here in this specific example here is that we have a gate pulse function. Now usually this is an aperiodic signal. Now what we have done here, that suppose after a specific time interval, this specific gate function is reappeared each and every specific time period, after every specific time period. So as we increase the time period, the fundamental frequency will automatically decrease. Okay, so sorry, as the fundamental frequency is decreasing, what will happen, the sampling spacing will increase, sorry, sample spacing will decrease. Okay, so from this specific example we go through the Fourier transform realization. Okay, now what we have here, we take the same specific example, and we know the relation here that a suffix k is equal to sin k omega 0 t1, and we know that omega 0 is equal to 2 pi by 2. You already know all these values. Okay, so we have already know also that we have also shown the bar graph representation. and the bar graph representation is nothing but the specific Fourier series representation of that specific gate pulse function. Okay, or the gate pulse function or square wave function, we can use any kind of name. So Fourier series representation of that specific square wave, which is basically a periodic signal, but as that specific signal is reappearing after specific time period, we could get a specific Fourier series representation of for that aforementioned square wave, and that relation can be represented as a Fourier series representation, and the graphical representation I have already shown there. And that there what we got the relation that as we increase the time period, the fundamental frequency will decrease, so the sample spacing of that specific constant coefficients of that square wave will also get closure. So in a specific time period, the sample spacing will get closer to each other. Okay, so from that, so this specific page also is a continuation of that specific example. So as we know, the a suffix k is equal to 2 sine k omega 0 by t1 by k omega 0 t. Okay, so from that we just provided t a suffix k, which is equal to 2 sine omega t1 by omega. We have taken omega as is equal to k omega 0. Okay, so from that what we get here, this is the specific example of gate function. So now that is with omega thought of as a continuous variable, the function 2 sine omega t1 by omega represent the envelope of t a suffix k, right? Constant coefficients value. Okay, and the coefficient a suffix k are simply equally spaced samples of this envelope. We can easily write that for each fundamental frequency. Okay, as this. Okay, so and for now suppose for fixed t1, now what is the t1 is? T1 is nothing but this is t1, this value is t1. Now if we have a fixed t1, the envelope ta suffix is independent of t, and in the figure, that's the basic reality, that suppose the t1 is constant value. So as we can understand that as we put we get a value of fixed t1, what we have here, the envelope of t a suffix k is independent of t. So again show the Fourier series coefficient for the periodic square wave. What we have here, we have a relationship of time and frequency. As soon as we constant the value t1, the ta suffix k and this value is nothing but the relationship of we get a proportional relationship of time and frequency. So what we have, we got a relationship of a time domain of a gate function with the frequency domain of a gate function. So this is the basic reality of Fourier transform. In Fourier transform, what we do, the Fourier transform basically provide a relation of time domain of a gate function of a periodic function or a periodic function with the frequency domain of that specific gate function or a periodic function or a periodic function. The function or the signal could be periodic and aperiodic, but the relation between the time domain of that specific function or signal with the frequency domain of that specific function is the basic representation of Fourier transform. So this gate function relation is providing us the space or scope to establish a specific relation of time and frequency between the relationship of a specific periodic or aperiodic signal. Okay, from now if we just consider this facts, we have here that for fixed t1, the envelope of ta suffix k is independent of t. So from that we can have that specific signal. Now here is the specific, this is the constant coefficients values, the Fourier series representation. Here is the magnitude and phase response. Okay, here is also as we increasing either time period, the fundamental frequency is decreasing, with which the sample spacing is also decreasing for this specific signal. Okay. Okay, so now this relationship we already know, and from this relation, from this specific graphical representation, one second, yes, from this specific graphical representation, what we have here is the periodic signal as the period becomes arbitrarily large, and we examine the limiting behavior of the Fourier series representation for this signal. In particular, consider a signal x of t that is of finite duration, that is for some number t1, x of t is equal to 0, and for this value as illustrated in figure this. From this aperiodic signal we can construct a periodic signal for which x of t is one period, and as indicated this, as we choose the period t be larger, x of t is identical to x of t over a longer interval. That is the basic reason. As we increase the value of the chosen period time t, as the t get larger, what will happen, this x of t, which is nothing but the basically photocopy of that specific waveform which is reappearing after specific time period, is identical to x of t over a longer interval. And as t is less tends to infinity, x of t is equal to x of t for any finite value of t. As we have a finite value of t, we can reconsider a specific x of t as a periodic signal, and by which we can easily represent that specific aperiodic signal as a Fourier series representation. Okay, so let us now examine the effect of this on the Fourier series representation. Okay, x of t, here the convenience with the signal, this is the specific x of t and this is the x dash t. It is nothing but the what we have done this specific signal. Okay, we have created a replica as this specific time width is finite. As we have this specific width as a finite value, and we reimaging this each and every signal again and again after specific time period. Okay, and from that what we now from using that convenience, what we can rewrite is, as we can see, this is a periodic, we have created this periodic signal. It could be written here as, one second. Okay, so we can rewrite this specific function as we know the Fourier series representation of this specific signal is that x dash t is equal to a suffix k e to the power j omega 0 t, and the constant coefficients of that specific periodic signal is 1 by t integration of minus t by 2 to t by 2 x of dash t e to the minus j omega 0 t. Okay, so this is the Fourier series representation. Now as we know that omega 0 is equal to 2 pi by t, and since this value is equal to this for mod t is less than t by 2, and also since also x of t is 0 outside this interval, this can be rewritten as a suffix k is this, and can be rewritten as 1 by t minus infinity to plus infinity x of t to the power minus j k omega 0 dt. Now what we have here, as we know this value is constant, so the basic representation of a Fourier transform will always be considered. So any kind of a signal, any kind of a aperiodic signal can be rewritten as a function of frequency. So we have a aperiodic signal which can be rewritten. We know the time, we already know what is the time domain variability of a specific aperiodic signal. Now using this formula we can rewrite that specific time domain. So any kind of a time domain analysis of specific signal can be represented as a frequency domain analysis using the Fourier transform. So we from this what we got, that a suffix k is equal to 1 by t minus infinity to plus infinity x of t to the minus j k omega 0 t, where this value t is a finite value. Now suppose this value goes to infinite, so this specific representation can't be rewritten again. Okay, so this a suffix k is nothing but is a function of frequency. So this value can be rewritten here is this. So this is the function of frequency. This function, so this x of j omega t of t a suffix a k can be rewritten here as this. Okay, now using that, for the coefficient of a suffix k, what we get 1 by t into x j k omega 0. Okay, so rewriting this value here using in this specific function, we can rewrite the value of a suffix k here is that a suffix t x dash t is equal to k minus infinity to plus infinity 1 by t x j omega 0 k e to the power j k omega 0 t. Okay, and equivalently if we just put the value of 2 pi by t in place of omega 0, we get this. Okay, we get this value 1 by 2 pi. Now why do we get this kind of value? Now this is t. Okay, so the value of t will be 1 by t is equal to omega 0 by 2 pi. Now as we know, as we increase the value of t, now how do we represent this value? This is the representation of a specific signal as a 1 by 2 pi x j k omega 0 e to the power j k omega 0 t omega 0. That's value, right? That 1 by t can be rewritten as omega 0 by 2 pi. Here is the omega 0, here is the 2 pi in place of 1 by t. Now using that, we can rewrite this specific value as a x of t is equal to 1 by 2 pi minus infinity plus infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega 0 j omega t, where we put the value k is equal to 1. And as we know, if we just increase the value of t, where is known as the convergence theorem, that we are going to discuss again, that as we know, as we increase the value of t to infinity, the value of omega 0 goes to 0, or tends to 0. So we can we get a value of omega 0 which is very negligible, so we just discard that value, and we can rewrite this specific signal as x of t is 1 by 2 pi minus infinity plus infinity x e to the power j omega e to the power j omega t, where this value of t have to be finite, and this is the specific representation of a Fourier transform of a specific aperiodic signal. Okay, so and also the x of j omega can be rewritten as x of t e to the power minus j omega t, which is nothing but the inverse Fourier transform. So we got this specific function and this specific two function is known as the, first one is known as the Fourier transform, and this is known as the Fourier inverse transform. So in case of Fourier transform, what we do, and which is also known as the time frequency domain duality, or domain duality, that any kind of a signal which is in a time domain, we can convert that specific signal into frequency domain, and that is known as Fourier transform. And we can do that specific conversion in a vice versa from. We can also provide the opposite conversion, where we change the frequency domain. We can change the signal from frequency domain to time domain. Okay, it's a thoroughly mathematical process, but still I have tried to make you understand in a much more generalized form. Okay. So you can understand the specific nuances of this specific two form of signal. Okay, so now as we can, if you want to understand the whole thing, that we can use that here with graphical representation, that this is the x of j omega e j omega t. Okay, it could be represented here as x j k omega 0 e to the power j k omega 0 t omega 0. This is the value. Okay, this is the k plus 1 omega 0 graphical representation of equation. Okay, and these two equations are referred to as the Fourier transform pair, with the function x j omega referred to as the Fourier transform of Fourier integral of x of t, and the inverse Fourier transform equation for this equation. Okay, and the synthesis equation, this is the synthesis equation, plays a role for aperiodic signals similar to the equation of for periodic signals, since both represent a signal as a linear combination of complex exponential. For periodic signals, this complex exponential have amplitudes as given by this value occur discrete set of harmonically related frequencies. Okay, for aperiodic signals, the complex exponential occur at a continuum of frequencies, and according to synthesis equation of, this is the synthesis equation. From the synthesis equation, what we can have here is the amplitude x of j omega d omega by 2 pi. In analogy with the terminology used for Fourier series coefficients of a periodic signal, the transform x of j omega of an aperiodic signal xt is commonly referred to as the spectrum of x of t, as it provides us with the information needed for describing x of t as a linear combination of sinusoidal signals at different frequencies. Okay, this specific term is very important to understand. Now I will read out again, and I'll make everyone understand that what it really means. That with terminology used for the Fourier series coefficients of a periodic signal, the transform x of j omega of an aperiodic signal x of t is commonly referred to as the spectrum of x of t, as it provides us with the information needed for describing x of t as a linear combination of sinusoidal signals at different frequencies. Okay, that's a very important factor to understand. That's why when we provided us the Fourier transform, what we have done in Fourier transform, we convert the time domain of a signal to a frequency domain. So the time domain information is already been here. We will provide you the frequency domain information for a specific, with this specific conversion process we would provide us the information. So this information is nothing but is this information is basically describing x of t as a linear combination of sinusoidal signals at different frequencies. At each different frequencies, what is the linear so any aperiodic signal can also be described as a combination of sinusoidal signals at different frequencies. That is the basic fundamental to understand for aperiodic signal and periodic signal. Okay, so we will cover. So this is the basic introduction of the Fourier transform, inverse Fourier transform. In the next lecture, one second. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss the convergence of Fourier transform and the properties of Fourier transform. Okay, so let's conclude our lecture here today. Okay, thank you.